Bonsoir à tous. I hope you're doing great. It's Wednesday evening if you're watching this live. And we're going to keep reading the fairy tales. Well, not the fairy tales, the tales by Patrick Baud called Nanofictions. We're going to read them in French and then entirely together. And then we analyze the vocabulary and I give you context, examples, and all the liaison and the tips for pronunciation. And then I read everything and I explain the twist. Before we start, there are two things that I wanted to show you. First is the thing I teased you about yesterday that Richard made. Richard is a lovely student that you can find in the chat, and he made a map with where we were, and he put me, and then we thought that it would be so lovely that all the students could put where you're listening from, so we can see where we are. And Richard, I'm waiting on you for your instructions on telling me how you want me to share that. What format do you think we should go for? I will tell you as soon as we decide on that, Richard and I. And I think it's so lovely to have something to remember for after and even for now to see where everybody is. So that was a Richard surprise that I mentioned yesterday, and I was so touched by that. I was very, very impressed by this idea and putting this in place, because this is an idea that was mentioned on the chat and he actually made something out of it. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Richard. And coming soon, how we can all add ourselves to this map. The second thing I wanted to mention today is if you could help me on something. I'm taking a class on how to improve my YouTube channel on Commune Française. Not to do anything that is going to change anything for you, but to understand what you like on YouTube and how I can make everything better and more accurate to what you want to see. And I had a question that I really wanted to submit to you tonight because you're so nice. And maybe I will open this question to other people later. But I wanted to start with you is what channels do you watch on YouTube? Thing that you really like? Anything. You can tell me, yes, I watch Alexa or Johan or Hugo or anyone else. It's fine. It's not only for French. It can be for French. You can tell me I watch all these videos from this French teacher all the time. But what kind of other channels do you like to watch? Because my homework is to understand what you like to watch as well, so I can actually understand what is suitable and what's interesting and other ideas that I could have to make lessons for you. So it would be lovely if you could help me with that. You could help me with my homework. That would be really nice, and I can help you with yours. So share that in the chat or in the comments, and if it would be so helpful. And also I can find out new channels and we can share new channels as well. And let's start with the tale now. I hope you have a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, some water, maybe some wine, just something to drink while we do this. It can be water, that's fine. And a pen and paper or maybe a computer to take notes. These two tales are pretty easy today because I wanted something relaxing. And tomorrow we'll be back with more difficult things. And let's start reading. Ready? Breathe in. As usual, breathe out. 1, 2, and 3. Ce jeune pictogramme rêvait de travailler dans un aéroport. Il s'imaginait bien sur un panneau indiquant un escalator ou une boutique duty-free, ou en... Oh, something happened. Sorry, I moved the text. What happened? Ou une boutique duty-free, ou encore le contrôle des bagages. Mais la concurrence était rude et il termina sur la porte des toilettes pour hommes. I had a question in the chat that I wanted to mention today. I think it was a question from Paul, which was really good. It is about la liaison. There's often a mix-up in la liaison about what la liaison is. La liaison is always about a silent letter at the end of a word that has to be said out loud when it is followed by a certain word starting with the vowel. For example, here we have dans un aéroport. Dans, when you say it on its own, it is dans. We do not say the S. And here we have un. And when you put dans before un, it becomes dans un. Dans un. So the S appears with a Z word, the sound. Dans un aéroport, not dans un aéroport. This doesn't mean anything. And Paul had a question yesterday which was very, very clever. And it's a very common mistake, so I wanted to come back on that. Pour homme. You don't mix that when I say pour homme with une liaison. Une liaison is always with a silent letter. Dans un. Here, the pour is always going to be said this way. Pour. P-O-U-R. Pour. Okay, I'm insisting on the R on purpose. Pour. And if I say pour homme, the two words are very, very close because it's just in one breath. Pour homme, as if it was just one word. But this does not constitute a liaison. Okay, it's just a way to say the things. I don't say pour homme, I say pour homme in one go. And this is not a liaison, but it's a trick to actually speak French better. Instead of saying all the words next to each other, pour homme, I say pour homme to sound better. Okay, so this is not a liaison, but it is an excellent question, Paul. So thank you so much for asking. Also because it is a question that lots of students have and they don't think about asking or they don't dare to ask. So well done you. Let's analyze. I just used a new mouse, and so things are being a bit tricky today. Ce jeune pictogramme. Ce jeune pictogramme, it is this young. I assume it is pictogram in English as well. It sounded so obvious that I didn't even check this one. Pictogram. Yes, icon or symbol. But it is this drawing that is very basic that gives you an information. For example, the sign for the toilet, the sign for the elevator or the lift, according to where you live, the sign for the ATM machine, all these kinds of symbols. Ce jeune, jeune is young, and here it is an adjective. Rêver, it is to dream. Rêver. De travailler dans un aéroport. Dreamed of working in an airport. Rêver de travailler. I'm going to write this again just to make sure you remember the accent circonflexe. Okay. The accent circonflexe, l'accent circonflexe. Travailler. This one I assume you know. It is to work. Travailler. Travailler. Dans un aéroport, in an airport. And here, do you see another liaison? No, I don't see one either. Ce jeune pictogramme rêvait de travailler dans un aéroport. Something here about the pronunciation. I say rêvait, but other people in France might say rêvait. It just depends on where you are. Rêvait, I say et. I say this, rêvait. But you could say rêvait. Rêvait. It's even difficult for me to say rêvait with the same sound both times. Rêvait. But here I speak kind of a Parisian French and I say rêvait. Just wanted to show you something here. And this is typically the kind of things that are going to betray where you're from. Because if you say et or est, it's going to give a clue on where you're from. Ce jeune pictogramme rêvait de travailler dans un aéroport. Okay, this young symbol, pictogram, was dreaming about working in an airport. And here the tense is not le passé simple. Did you see that? It is l'imparfait. It is l'imparfait because it is a long thing. He's always dreamed about working in an airport. And just to make sure, this is not a person, okay? This is really, we are imagining this little symbol dreaming about working in an airport. So it is an image, it is a tale, okay? It is not a real story. It's not someone who actually acts as a symbol. It is a symbol who is the character of this story. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Il s'imaginait bien sur un panneau indiquant un escalator ou une boutique duty-free ou encore le contrôle des bagages. Il s'imaginait bien. He could see himself pretty well. Okay? He could imagine himself pretty well. Imaginer is to imagine, s'imaginer is to imagine yourself, and bien is well. And about bien, there is something funny that I wanted to show you. It is that when you ask a hidden question, what you might have learned at school, and I think I'm going to start doing this kind of lessons. I want to do at least one lesson on deconstructing the French that you learned at school maybe 30, 40, 50 years ago, and actually showing you how you can say it without sounding ridiculous like a teenager, to actually make it more suitable for the 21st century. So what you might have learned at school is puis-je avoir un café? Let's say un café. Puis-je avoir un café? And I'm going to add s'il vous plaît, but I usually say that it's implied in what I teach, because if I put s'il vous plaît every time, it takes forever. Oui, d'un accent circonflexe here. Puis-je, it is the polite, I think, form of pouvoir. Oh, good news, I bought a grammar book. Aha. And I'm going to be able to give you way more accurate explanations. And I'm very happy to actually really go deep into that. No one ever reads grammar books, but I think I reached a point where I really have to, in order to give you the best lessons I can. And did you watch yesterday's lesson? Did you think I was looking for like a vampire? And did you like it? I really put in some work on that to explain all the grammar around it. So I would love your feedback, especially because you're so nice and you can give me constructive feedback. Puis, I'm checking. I can't find anything that I'm satisfied with. It has to be something very peculiar, but it is the polite way to use puis, but it's extremely weird because it's very formal and no one would ever use it. So this is something that you might have learned at school. Puis-je avoir un café, s'il vous plaît? Can I have a coffee, please? Puis-je avoir un café? But no one ever uses that. And what I wanted to show you today is the kind of French that I would use, my best friend would use all the time. Je veux bien un café, I'm going to put te and vous, because I'm going to show you why. S'il vous plaît. Je veux bien un café, s'il vous plaît. When you're in a restaurant, and you're ordering something, very often students don't believe me, and then they go to France and they realize I was right. And it's very bad, not because they don't believe me, that's fine, but just because When we learn something at school, it just stays stuck in your head, and you don't want to give up on this very, very formal way that you learned. So, puis-je avoir un café, s'il vous plaît? It's wonderful. It's super, super formal, super nice, very, very polite. But something that French people are going to say very often is je veux bien un café, s'il vous plaît. And this is something that you can use in a coffee shop, in a restaurant or a café. Je veux bien un café, s'il vous plaît. And it doesn't even have a real translation. It's I would love a coffee, please, or okay, I'm going to have a coffee, please. The waiter is going to ask you, with your lemon pie, do you want something else? This is the kind of context is going to work. Vous voulez quelque chose avec ça? Do you want something with that? Je veux bien un café, s'il vous plaît. Yes. And this is really cute. And this is not vulgar or familiar. It's just everyday French. And this is what I teach on Commune Française, is everyday modern French. This is not going to make you sound familiar or flirty or youth French. It's really kind and very, very good. And give it a try. If you happen to travel to France, okay, maybe next year in 2021, give it a try. It's really cute. And you go from this, which is perfect but so formal, to this, and this makes you sound more fluent. And this is something that my best friend would say all the time. Je veux bien un... I'm going to put le vous here. Je veux bien un café, un thé, because my best friend doesn't drink coffee, she drinks tea. S'il te plaît. And this bien makes all the difference in the world in French. It gives your French authenticity and truth, and it's normal French. Je veux bien un thé, s'il te plaît, is, for example, the situation. We play board games a lot at my home with my partner and my best friend and other friends. Loads of board games. We are a real nerd about that. And for example, I'm going to the kitchen to get what could I go to get? I'm going to the kitchen to get a paper towel. And my friend is going to tell me, je veux bien un thé, s'il te plaît. Is I would love some tea, please. This is exactly that. I would love some tea, please. It doesn't matter that the words are not the same. It's about the intention. And this is something that you can use if you want to speak French in your home as well. Je veux bien un thé, s'il te plaît. And you can use that with anything. The structure of je veux bien something is I would love something, or please give it to me. Okay. Sorry, it was not really about the tale. But I love teaching you that. For example, yesterday when I told you that you could say 1340 instead of 1340, it's just the same thing. It's not going to change your fluency, but it makes a huge difference to understand French and understanding the intention behind what you're saying and behind what you're hearing. This is all about understanding the language. And I'm more and more thinking about doing more lessons on how to understand spoken French, because this seems to be something that matters to the students. So I understand, but understanding the depth of it rather than just the superficiality of just kind of understanding what they're saying, but not really understanding what's happening behind the words. All this to talk about bien. Bien is so important. It's like petit. I could talk for hours about bien as I could talk for hours about petit, which I've done in the past. Sur un panneau, it is a board, it is a sign. For example, un panneau publicitaire. And in my city, they removed all the ads in the city, so it's really cool. You don't have ads for naked women, with naked women selling perfumes in Grenoble, and this was huge in France. We were I think the first ones to do it, and we're very, very proud. Indiquant un escalator, indicating an escalator, so it is the same word in English. Ou une boutique duty-free or a duty-free shop. Une boutique, it is a shop. And what you might have heard of boutique hotel, I found that when I was when we were in Mexico Where was it? My mom will be able to tell you. Maybe Cabo San Lucas or closer. Well, it was somewhere in Mexico where I found out about boutique hotel. I had never heard about that, and we don't use it this way in French. Okay, so that doesn't really exist unless you're working in the hotel industry. But une boutique is a shop. Okay, une boutique. We also say un magasin. But the idea of une boutique is it is smaller. But they can talk about the same thing. But the rule of thumb idea of une boutique it is that it is smaller. And the way we say that it is duty free. So yeah, it's awful for your ears probably, but this is how we would say it, duty free, duty free. Ou encore le contrôle des bagages, or even the luggage control. Un bagage, it is a piece of luggage. And having this difference is really difficult for people speaking English. Well, French people speaking English, because having this idea of a piece of luggage or furniture is so difficult for French students learning English that you really have to be nice to them when they make the mistake. Let's reread that and try to find la liaison. Il s'imaginait bien sur un panneau indiquant un escalator. Indiquant un escalator. Let's put one here. Un escalator ou une boutique duty free ou encore le contrôle des bagages. No more liaison here. Ready to read the last one? 1, 2, and 3. Mais la concurrence était rude et il termina sur la porte des toilettes pour hommes. Mais la concurrence était rude et il termina sur la porte des toilettes pour hommes. La concurrence is competition. And rude, it is not rude. Not at all. Rude is hard or tough. Rude. This is rude. Yeah, with the U. Rude. And rude in English, it is impoli or malpoli, depending on how you say it. We usually say malpoli, but sometimes if you want to be a little bit more polite, you can say impoli. So, rude is un faux ami. Let's reread the full tale again. There is no liaison here. And then I'm going to re-explain to make sure you understand the twist at the end. Ce jeune pictogramme rêvait de travailler dans un aéroport. Il s'imaginait bien sur un panneau indiquant un escalator ou une boutique duty-free ou encore le contrôle des bagages. This young symbol dreamed about working in an airport. And again, it is not a human being we're talking about. It is a symbol. So think about this as a Pixar movie. This tale is a Pixar movie. It is not a real tale with a human. You cannot do a movie about that. Il s'imaginait bien sur un panneau. He could see himself on a sign indicating the escalator or a duty-free shop or even the luggage control, security control or security. Le contrôle des bagages is when they checked your luggage. Le contrôle des bagages. Mais la concurrence était rude et il termina sur la porte des toilettes pour hommes. I can so imagine this tale as a mini Pixar movie. That would be really cute. But competition was tough, mais la concurrence était rude et il termina, and he ended up. Terminer, it is to end up, it is to finish and to end up. Sur la porte des toilettes pour hommes, on the door of the men's toilets. Why is this a plot twist? Because he thought he would become something unique or something very important, and actually he ends up as a toilet sign on the door of the toilet because there's so many jobs for symbols because there are lots of toilet doors that he ends up there and he's disappointed. And he's not on a sign, on a massive sign. He's on a door. So he's not even seen by that many people. Can you get it? Yeah, I think it was a cute story. And you can imagine the little symbol trying to be all the other symbols that he wants to become and actually being a bit disappointed at the end. Let's read the final tale together. 1, 2, and 3. Ready? Ces extraterrestres ne voulaient pas nous effrayer. Here we have une liaison. Ils étudièrent les films qui les mettaient en scène pour agir d'une façon qui semblerait familière aux humains. Here we have une liaison, and aux humains we have une liaison as well. Ainsi, en arrivant sur Terre, ils commencèrent par faire voler tous les vélos, puis firent sauter la Maison Blanche. Oh, why? Ces extraterrestres ne voulaient pas nous effrayer. Les extraterrestres, c'est aliens. Un extraterrestre égale un extraterrestre. Ne voulait pas nous effrayer, didn't want to frighten us. Effrayer, it is to frighten. I struggled with this one earlier today. To frighten. Tu m'effraies avec ton masque de clown. But usually we would say faire peur. Okay. Tu me fais peur avec ton masque de clown. Effrayer is a little bit formal. Faire peur is more casual. Faire peur is not familiar at all or vulgar or anything. It's just more casual. Tu m'effraies avec ton masque de clown. Ces extraterrestres ne voulaient pas nous effrayer. Here we have une liaison. These aliens didn't want to frighten us. Ils étudièrent les films qui les mettaient en scène pour agir d'une façon qui semblerait familière aux humains. Étudier, it is to study. Étudier, to study. Étudier, to study. Les films qui les mettaient en scène. The movies that were staging them. Staging. Mettre en scène, it is to stage. And un metteur en scène, if you like cinema, it is a director. Les films qui les mettaient en scène pour agir d'une façon, to act, agir, it is to act in a way that would seem familiar to humans. Agir, it is to act. What did we have? Une façon, it is a way. And sembler, it is to seem. Ils étudièrent, here we have une liaison, ils étudièrent les films qui les mettaient en scène pour agir d'une façon qui semblerait familière aux humains. They studied the movies that staged them in order to act in a way that would seem familiar to humans. But how do we stage aliens? That's the question. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ainsi, en arrivant sur Terre, ils commencèrent par faire voler tous les vélos, puis firent sauter la Maison Blanche. Ils commencèrent par faire voler. Remember, it is to make fly. Voler, it is to fly. To fly. And faire voler is to make something happen. Sorry. To make something happen. Faire verb. Faire verb is to make verb happen. To make fly, to get to fly. Tous les vélos, un vélo, it is a bicycle. A bicycle. Puis faire sauter la Maison Blanche. To sauter, it is to blow up here. Sauter, it is to jump most of the time. Mais faire sauter, it is to blow up. And let's read this one again. Ainsi, en arrivant sur Terre, ils commencèrent par faire voler tous les vélos, puis firent sauter la Maison Blanche. Let's read this one together. Ces extraterrestres ne voulaient pas nous effrayer. Ils étudièrent les films qui les mettaient en scène pour agir d'une façon qui semblerait familière aux humains. Ainsi, en arrivant sur Terre, ils commencèrent par faire voler tous les vélos, puis firent sauter la Maison Blanche. These aliens didn't want to scare us. So they've been studying for a while. They wanted to come to Earth, but they didn't want to scare us. They studied the movies that staged them in order to understand what would feel familiar to the humans. So they studied probably E.T. and other action movies, Independence Day, this kind of movies where you have aliens. Then, arriving on Earth, they started by making all the bicycles fly, which is something that you see in E.T. and other movies which are based on the same concepts. Puis firent sauter la Maison Blanche and then blew up the White House, because this is what you see all the time in alien movies where they blow up the White House. And that's it for today. And you don't have nightmares tonight, I think. It's pretty cute. And the other is just an accident. The aliens didn't mean to actually blow up the White House, nor to make all the bicycles fly. They wanted to make us happy. So I wish you une bonne soirée, une bonne journée, maybe une bonne... If you could tell me about the YouTube channel that you watch for my homework, that would be really, really nice. And also I can discover new ones as well. There is no shame in what you're watching, okay? Just tell me what you like to watch so I can learn more and I can discover new things as well. I will see you tomorrow at 7:15 p.m. Paris time. Please take care, stay safe, stay at home. And we're going to start filling in this map so we can see where everybody is and share something together on a map. À demain. Salut!